While the departed heroes are celebrated, there are also the living ones, those still in service and those who are retired. Commodore Latunde Oladimeji retired from the Navy after 22 years of service. He calls those years a mixed bag.
Yeah, of course it was rigorous, it was exciting, it was enjoyable, it was a mix of hard work and, sitting back at home now, I have good memories of the Nigerian Navy. And I still love to, once in a while, come back to see what is going on in the Navy. I enjoy my time. I still serve the Navy in a way, writing for the Navy magazine, which I pioneered in 1985, and it's still going on.
Rigorous captures the training period of Captain Umar before he became an officer of the army.
Our training, as at the time I went to the academy in '88, was rigorous. Rigorous and very, very challenging. I remember in those days, our instructors used to tell us there are 40 hours in a day. 24 belongs to the army. The remaining 16 is yours. How you make it out, just make sure you give us our 24. Today, I don't know what is obtainable there, but I can assure you that training evolves with time. What I saw in training, for example, cannot be the same as what the present army chieftain saw when he was a cadet.
For retired Group Captain Felix Iheanacho, a former officer of the Air Force after 32 years of service, he says he misses the values shared in the force.
If I were to come back again to this world, I would still be in the Air Force. So, in as much as it was a very challenging experience, it was also very exciting, very honorable, and I would recommend that for any young man to serve his country in that capacity. So to that extent, I say I would do it again if I were to have the opportunity. If I am somewhere and I meet a colleague's family member, maybe having a problem, I leave my problem. I will make sure that my colleague's family member is comfortable, even if I don't know him. The mere fact that that person is related to is a member of the Air Force family. Those are the kind of values that I cherish so much. A value that you can place trust. You can ask somebody to do A for you, and you trust that he will do it and he will do it. It's not like the world I see after retirement where you cannot trust somebody. Their word is not their bond. As a matter of fact, that's why we say we are officers and gentlemen, because your word is your bond.
But he also remembers the sacrifices.
Among the sacrifices that really touches me most is that of not being with your family. I can recall that for at least 15 years of my career, I was living apart from my family. And this is the same thing for everybody in the armed forces at one time or the other. Some have even done worse than that. And you cannot be moving your family as you are being moved. I can sit in my house now, I hear a knock on the door, a soldier comes, salutes you, say, oh guy, you have a signal. And you see that signal. The signal says, okay, you must report to another location by the next 6 hours or 24 hours. And that has changed everything. You report to that place and you have just left your home with just less than 24 hours notice, and your family life is dislocated. You see, there is what we call passes. Yes, you can apply for passes to go and see your family, but when you are on a mission, for example, maybe like I told you, maybe you are in Liberia on peace enforcement or peacekeeping operation, you cannot leave that place to start coming to see your family in Nigeria. You are bogged down in operations. You don't even talk about it. And in fact, when such challenges come, they can even cancel every leave and pass.
Some other retired officers are not so fortunate to talk about their pains in the past tense.
Look, if you see my back himself, I'm very, very, very dirty. No money to feed ourselves, to feed our family. Now we are expecting about our bodies is about 3 years ago. They are not paying the money. They are starting to pay the money after 300. How much are we when are we going to collect the money? About 3 years money when they hold us, they are not pay. So we beg Buhari, may God Almighty give him long life and prosperity to pay this money a time for us. Because many of our people, they are die because no money for them to treat themselves.
In other climes, people retire and they can live on their pension. They live and their human dignity is being maintained. But if you want to look at that in our climb, you might as well be a dead man. And that is why most of the time when you see retired officers, a whole lot of people, when they hear retirement, they want to go on 7 days fasting so that they don't retire, because they know that it's like you are asking them that death is near, because it's not realistic.
It is for reasons like this that retired officers are demanding for more than just a Remembrance Day.
Armed Forces Remembrance Days are good. They are highly appreciated. But then it goes beyond just coming out to do a ceremonial show of these fallen heroes and these serving heroes. Those things that affect them should also be followed up on. And probably even you give feedback by the next Armed Forces Remembrance Day. We should be able to look at Remembrance Days where we should come and not only count our losses, but count the gains too. And say from the last one to this one, these are the things that we had, challenges, and we've been able to do this, and that, particularly for families and dependents of the deceased. But Remembrance Days are always a sober day, and they're highly welcomed. And I think everyone will be ever appreciative that the nation ceded one day to remember its fallen heroes. That's great.
The changes could be tackled by both the government and the people of the country.
You will see how they celebrate. Like I remember when I was a cadet in the UK, even my ID card alone, I go to a shop, I get discount for being in service because we are seconded to the British, the Royal Air Force at that time. We were cadets, right? So, and even they have special shops where maybe a member of the armed forces, if you want to buy something, you don't buy the same price with other people. You get a special discount, like maybe an electronic equipment, a car or things. Even hotels, you get discounts for carrying a service ID card. But in Nigeria, there's nothing like that. Even if you come from outside, you bring in your personal effects, you are not supposed to pay custom duty in those other climes, but here you do.
The services have Directorate of Veteran Affairs, and the Navy, I know, we have a Director of Veteran Affairs that can coordinate whatever is coming in form of, what will help the ex-service people. And I also know that in a place like the dockyard, people who have been in the technical line, who have done very well, and who have retired, are also given opportunities to serve. They are given employment also. Or, in some cases, if their expertise have been tapped to do some work for the system.
The military should lead the way in mending fences and making officers more appreciated.
The military can celebrate their successes a bit more often and be a bit more accommodating to the civil populace, and also vice versa. You're going to begin to see the elimination of what I call this communication vacuum that exists. That vacuum is dangerous because a vacuum abhors, they said matter, or is it matter abhors vacuum?
However, the responsibility of living more comfortable after service is also the burden of individual officers.
For example, I gave some series of lectures some years back to serving naval officers and personnel about how you prepare for retirement. And preparing meaning that you anticipate it. It's an inevitable thing. As much time as you have, you prepare for your retirement. You equip yourself. You plan your life.
Then even those that are late, we should be able to see corporate bodies begin to consider part of their corporate social responsibility bringing succor. Could be a trust fund, could be a foundation to the families of lost heroes or fallen heroes rather. So we could say, oh, in our company we give some preference to children of fallen heroes. If you come to us for a job, so long as you have all the pre-requirements in place, then you have an edge because your father had served. That could be integrated into the CSR function of so many corporate bodies.
The lessons from the Armed Forces celebration, as suggested by the retired officers we spoke to on this episode of Big Story, requires a change of perspective towards officers of the military to embrace them for making Nigeria a safe place to live in. And it should come from both Nigerians and the government. They ought to make them live comfortably, so we all have our roles to play in this. Until next time on Big Story, I'm Amy Thompson.